Hey guys, so I decided that it would be a good idea for me to kind of give a little story time slash explanation slash update about my time during COVID. So, because some people have been asking me, like, how are you going back to New York if you have, like, what, you've been in South Africa this whole time? Yes, I have. So, basically, what happened was I hadn't been home in 2 years since I started studying in New York in 2018. So, if you want the story for before that, you're gonna have to ping me or like join my newsletter. I'll put it in the description at the bottom, and I can forward you the previous newsletter. So basically, I decided that okay, since I'm graduating on the 15th of May, I want to make sure that I see my family before the 15th of May because after I graduate, then that's when I apply for OPT. Once you've applied for OPT, it's not advisable for you to travel. What's OPT? OPT is basically the I want to say the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, even though studying is not always a rainbow, but it's essentially an opportunity to work in the US for a year. And it's quite a process to apply for it. It costs money. It's like a 7-page application. You have to provide all kinds of paperwork, and it can take up to 3 months for them. Well, actually longer than that, but generally speaking, it takes about 3 months from the stories that I've heard from the people that I know, and at my school. It takes about 3 months to approve it, and you're not allowed to travel out of the country once you've applied because then it becomes very challenging and you could actually become ineligible. So I was like, okay, to make things safer and more comfortable during spring break, I'm gonna go home. Why not? So I left on the 6th of March. Disaster. Packing was awful. I go to when I was looking at my bags when I got there, I was like, but what was I thinking? Was I thinking? I think I was just so exhausted and I just wanted to leave the city already. So I packed my bags, got on the flight, got home on the 7th of March. And it's so funny because the whole time I was planning my trip, I was like feeling so anxious because I was like, oh my gosh, this coronavirus thing is getting really hectic. And I want to make sure that I'm safe, because I'm not trying to, because generally speaking, how I travel is that I always connect through different cities because it's cheaper, and yes, it's very long, but it also means that I can get out and walk and stuff like that so that my legs aren't as swollen when I arrive because a bitch travels economy. Okay, so this in this instance, yeah, coronavirus, I was like, going to different cities is actually going to be the worst thing that I could do because what I could potentially be doing is just collecting strains of coronavirus all over, like, oh, I just want the British one, okay, and then I want the Ethiopian one, and then I want this, and then I want that. So I was just like, you know what, I'm going to have to decide between paying a lot less money and paying a lot less money and having a little bit more risky health wise of an experience traveling through different cities or even through just London. But the problem with traveling through London, I might as well be traveling through like 5, 6 cities because it's such a big airport, where so many people transit that it just kind of didn't make sense in terms of health. So that was the one option. The other option was to fly direct with SAA, and at the time, SAA, I love you, but yo, South African Airways has been through so much that, I didn't know if it was going to exist by the time I needed to travel. Okay, like, I know it sounds shady, but it's not shady, it's the truth. They've been through bankruptcy, I don't know how many times. They've now were applying for business rescue at the time. And I was just like, yo, I really didn't know what to do. But the price tag was a little bit higher to pay for that because it was a direct flight. So I sat on it, I slept on it, and then I decided, okay, I'm gonna fly SAA because firstly, it's my home country's airline, support, proudly South African, and I do love the airline. It's a good airline. And it also means that I'll get a piece of home on my way home, and it also means that I would get home the next day. It's a direct flight, and their food is great. Like SAA food, you must be joking, delicious. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. And also, I felt like because I'm a South African citizen that would have been had a SAA ticket, if things were to go pear shaped, which was very possible, then maybe I could make a case for myself somehow, or maybe they'd be like, okay, if you're a South African citizen, we're gonna come get you. I don't know, okay. But at the time, I was like, okay, SAA is gonna be the best option. So I booked my ticket, direct flight, my first direct flight to the US ever. Actually, my first direct flight in general. I think I've always flown via somewhere else, except for when I went to London because I didn't pay for it. So it was a direct flight to London. Anyway, so excited, packed my bags. Charlie dropped me off at the airport. Bye, babe. Bye, babe. Mwah, love you. Okay, cool. Got on the flight. Okay, cool. Great food, great service. You know, people are already speaking in Tswana, Zulu, Bona, Homonati on the flight. I'm like, yes, I made the right decision. Landed on the 7th of March. Listen, it was great. But when I landed on the 7th of March, they were already doing the screening at the airport, like for fever and stuff like that, which made sense to me. It made sense to me that they were screening. The fever thing didn't really make sense because I was like, if somebody's got coronavirus, they're people who are asymptomatic. So testing for fever, I just, okay, sharp. But you got to do something. You can't just be like, well, because people are asymptomatic, we're just not going to test. So they did something. Cool, pass the test. It always, like, I feel like it's one of the best feelings in the world is landing back home after being gone for a long time. Like, I love arriving back in South Africa. I always feel just so filled with emotion. I feel proud. I feel happy. I feel excited to just see and hear and smell everything that's very South African. And the border officials are always just so nice. They're nice. It's like I get a chance for Tswana. You know what I mean? Just like a little quick conversation, and they've always been very approachable and stuff like that. So I'm always very excited to come home. Got home, and some people were wearing visors, like shields. Some people were wearing masks. Some people weren't. And I just thought it was a bit funny, weird, because if you're working at the airport, I think that's the place where you really should be wearing a mask. But okay, if that's what you want to do, you do you. Fine. Got in, got my bags, came home. It was a great trip. Like, I was meant to be there from the 7th of March until the 23rd of March. 23rd of March, that's like a long holiday. You know what I mean? I was taking the 1 week off school plus spring break. Fine, the week of spring break. So fine, got home, bona. Like, it was just great to be home. Like, I got to catch up with my family. I got to see my nephews. It was just like a really good, wholesome, hearty, heart filling, soul feeding experience. Like, it was so good. I don't know how to explain it. Like, I felt like I had just landed back in the land of milk and honey, after being in a desert. Not to say New York is a desert, but in terms of um what South Africa offers, New York is no way. It just does not compare. Yes, New York is a great city, but in terms of what home does for you as a person, but particularly South Africa, even for people who are not South African, they'll tell you when you go to South Africa, there's something there. And so that was the thing that I felt like I was just missing. And my soul was just like drinking it, eating it, absorbing it in every sense of the word, every way that I could receive that. Cool. Ate all the foods that I was missing. Like, guys, chicken licking. Woo! I know Nando's is like a thing and people are excited about Nando's, and I love me some Nando's, trust me. I buy the sauces all the time. When my friends come here, I'm like, guys, can you get me Nando's sauce? Even though now I saw that I can buy them here. But I was like, I chicken licking is on its own, it's in its own little category somewhere. It's delicious, okay? And I've never tasted chicken like that before. Like the flavor, the crispy with the moist, the hot sauce, the kurbana, like chicken licken. I want to be a spokesperson for chicken licken. Chicken licken, hit me up. Like, I'll test all your products. I will eat your chicken. I will do whatever you need me to do. But chicken licken is the one. I wish there was a chicken licken in somewhere in the States, but particularly in New York. I think it would do well. But whatever. Cool. So I had chicken licken. I had stony ginger beer. I had spadro. It is spadro. Oh, my friend Manyata, girl, you the one. She came through with me. We're gonna go see my friend Nungu perform at Nirox Sculpture Park, which is my first time going there. Beautiful, great experience. And she rocked up, came to pick me up in the coolest ride ever. Please. And she was like, girl, you just buy the drinks. I've got, just buy drinks. She didn't even tell me that she had it. She was like, just buy drinks. So I bought Stony and some water. Got in the car. She's like, Geregiles Park. Woo, babes. I was so excited. And she got to go so wait because she went to go wash the car, whatever. Cool. So we ate Sparkle on our way to New York. Like, I was just in cloud nine, listening to music, windows down, Went to Nirox. Nirox was great. Anyway, that same night I went and met up with my friends. We had like a catch up, you know, all of us just talking about what life has been like in the last like basically fucking 2 years, okay? But we do talk often, so it wasn't exactly 2 years. But you know, when you talk on the phone, you can't really tell a person all the details. And even then, I feel like we didn't get all the details, but we're catching up. You know, some of our friends bought new cars, celebration, Bona, listening to all these new songs that I had missed because Kaiz or I listened to. I'm kind of I kind of know what's going on in South Africa in terms of music because I stalk Spotify like hardcore, but there were some songs I didn't know, like Loach, taka 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 Loach. You know, that's one of my friends' best song, favorite song. So I learned new songs and stuff like that. We caught up. It was amazing. And then everybody went their separate ways. And at the time, actually, we were all not drinking. So we had like leftover, drinks. And I was like, oh, you know what? We've got a bottle of white wine. I'll grab that, for, I don't know when I'm going to drink that, because I'm thinking, yeah, well, we're all not drinking, but maybe there'll be an occasion where I want to drink it. Well, turns out the occasion, no, English, the occasion was lockdown because there came a point during lockdown where the natural high was no longer working. Ne? Where I was like, takibula that thing. Ikai, bula, drink. I only needed like a glass because I hadn't been drinking for so long that like a glass would get me good, you know? So anyway, yeah, we hung out. It was great. Spent time with my sister and her family, my nephews, my brother, her partner, his partner, woo, his hair, who had. Um, and yeah, it was great, catching up with friends, on the phone. Listen, I was feeling myself. I was feeling South Africa. I was just feeling it all. It was just great. And then our president, Cyril Ramaphosa, made an announcement about the lockdown. And I was still like, okay, cool. I need to call SAA the next day, find out what's going on. Called SAA, and the lady I spoke to was like, listen, I don't know about this lockdown business, but we have been booking flights all morning, all day. I'm like, no, booking flights, like, what do you mean? She's like, no, we're booking flights for this week, for next week, for which we're still booking flights. It's like business as usual. I'm like, oh, really? Because I wanted to change my flight, but I don't know to change it to when. She's like, well, I would suggest you wait a bit because it seems like things are going fine. Well, when like there's nothing that's happening. Cool. Listen to advice. Friday came, lockdown time comes. Try to call SAA. There is no call center at that point. So I'm like, okay, so you mean to tell me that how am I gonna change my flight now? Cool, try to change it online, but the thing is they only give you one free change. So it doesn't make sense to change your flight if you don't know for which date you're gonna change your flight to. Especially if you're only getting one free change. I'm not trying to pay for another change for something, out of silliness. Anyway, um, so yeah, I was stuck in South Africa, and at the time I just felt like, you know what, it's a blessing because I actually do I want to be home. I felt like 2 weeks wasn't enough, so yeah, homenati, homenati, homenati. It was nice. Born again, I ate all kinds of things. Matebele kwani, hey, I was cooking, hey, magwinya, hey, magwinya, and means bona ke re ne le nna le dijo ke le mo kapa wa nkutlwa ke reng ne kapa. And then nice things, nice food, buying groceries, bona. It was just nice, like being home, just chilling and just resting. And then I still obviously had my online classes, so it wasn't like just chilling thing. And also my nephews, ooh, they're a handful. Listen, those little boys will run you into the ground with their energy. But yeah, I was enjoying it, because I missed them. It's not like adults where you can just call your mom, you can call your friend, you can WhatsApp them, you can video call them, you can send them, you can share stuff on social media. With my nephews, they're too young to have cell phones, you know what I mean? So I can't call them. I can't just be like, oh, let's hang out, let's watch a movie together on FaceTime or on WhatsApp video or whatever. I can't just contact them like that. So yeah, it was great. Oh, and then time moved on, and it's just like, okay, cool. It's nice to be home, but like, woo! I need my own space now, It's like once you've left the house, there is nothing that feels as freeing as not being in the house. Okay? Like, I love my family, but I have a belief. You know how people say good walls and good fences make good neighbors or happy neighbors, I say a good amount of distance makes a happy family. There's a reason why I moved out of the house. When I moved out of the house, there's a reason why people leave the nest, because it's time for you to build your own life, career, whatever, the way you want to. So it was one of those where I was like, oh, I need my independence now. Like, oh, I miss my own life, Cool. Yeah, then at some point I stayed with my cousins for a little bit, and that was also quite fun because I feel like it was a different experience because their kid is very, very, very young, so she can't speak yet. So it was more like an adult space with cuteness, attached.